one of the most horrific, troubling stories I've ever heard. I heard just about a week ago. As a matter of fact, a week ago today. Someone that says that, sent me a letter saying, thank you for all the different things that she believes that I've helped. To be honest with you, I didn't know I helped her. Someone sends me questions, I answer them. But to me, someone asks me questions about halakha, about different things, I'm thinking they already know. They're just trying to improve, or they're trying to verify, or maybe I made a mistake. I don't know. I don't start judging people, who he is, who she is. So she asked me questions for already over a year. Baruch Hashem, seems like she knew what she was talking about. I thought she was 100% religious her whole life. I thought she was frum from birth. I didn't think she was anything to do with Baal Tshuva. I just thought that she liked my shiurim and Rabbi Mizrahi shiurim. Maybe she heard about me through him. That's it. Didn't think much of it. Questions comes in, I answer. And then she tells me a story, and she says, in the letter she wrote me last week, I wasn't always religious. That was already a shock for me personally. It doesn't necessarily shock you, but for me it was a shock. You think you know something about somebody for over a year, and already somebody tells you I wasn't always religious. Not that it mattered, but it was a surprise to me. She says, I only started doing tshuva 5 years ago. Five years ago, I started doing tshuva. I watched some of Rabbi Mizrahi's videos, and all of a sudden I realized that I have to start becoming more modest. And I started becoming more modest. And I started observing the mitzvot. I started keeping kosher. I started doing everything. I even covered my hair with a mitpachat. I even covered my hair with a scarf. Now, for anyone that's done tshuva, they know that for a woman, that's the top. Modesty, most difficult mitzvah out of all. Shabbat, piece of cake. Sending kids to yeshiva, no big deal. Kosher, so what? Most difficult mitzvah for a woman in our generation, modesty. Real modesty I'm talking about. I'm not talking about half modesty. Like people that wear kisui rosh, but they wear a mini skirt. Or the long skirt, but no kisui rosh. Like people do 50-50 sometimes. No, I'm talking about full modesty, most difficult. Even half modesty is hard. You tell a woman, listen, you've been wearing pants your whole life, but you're not allowed to wear pants in Judaism. It's not modest. First of all, it's considered men's clothing, which you're not allowed to wear. And second of all, it's completely not modest simply because it shows your figure. So you tell this to a woman, it's very, very hard to adjust. But eventually they do, if they're serious. Some adjust really quickly. Some take time. But nonetheless, when a woman covers her hair with a mitpachat, that you could look, that's tzadikah. That's it. That's the top. At least I thought. Until last week. Last week I get an email, and she tells me, I started doing tshuva 5 years ago. I took on kosher, inside and outside the house. Because I realized that God is inside and outside the house, not just inside. Kosher all the time. Modesty, covered my hair. Everything. But about a year ago, I watched one of your lectures, and I realized that I'm a walking Chilul Hashem. Why? Because every Shabbat that I go to shul and go to the rabbi's house who invites me, it's not a good look that I'm driving on Shabbat with my kisui rosh on. To me, the thought of a woman, a Jewish woman, driving on Shabbat with kisui rosh on, it took me at least 36 hours to adjust to just think about something like this. I didn't know how to respond. You don't even know who's religious anymore. Sometimes you don't even know who's Jewish. Sometimes you have a guy coming to shul 5 years, he's not even Jewish. I have a few people like that. They tell me, yeah, I've been going to this Chabad for 5 years. I'm like, yeah, but you're not even Jewish. Yeah, but nobody says anything. You don't even know who's Jewish. You don't know who's keeping. You don't know anything. You have to be like a private detective now. So the shocking part of the story was not just the fact that this Woman was driving for 4 years until a year ago. She realized that she can't, and she stopped driving on Shabbat. But the most terrible part was the fact that the rabbi was enabling her. The rabbi was the one that was encouraging her to drive on Shabbat, to come to shul, to come to his house, knowing she's driving on Shabbat. He's inviting her to his house every week, to the shul, encouraging her to continue. Now, if anyone would say that some of these people have the argument that they're trying to bring people closer and eventually they do tshuva, how can you explain such a thing? How can you explain if you already see a woman making the biggest sacrifice, according to pretty much all standards, of covering herself head to toe, why wouldn't you take the initiative of telling her at some point during those 4 years, hey, you know what? Since you're already being modest, you're already keeping kosher, you're already keeping pretty much everything, you think maybe you should just not drive on Shabbat? It's just a thought. Just a thought. It's not allowed, by the way. It's not allowed. Just a thought, maybe. I don't know. Just throw it out there. If you don't want it, no big deal. Just don't take it offensively. Just a thought. One time. One time say it. One time. This is why I tell you guys that there's unfortunately an enormous amount of Erev Rav. There's an enormous amount of fake religious people, fake rabbis, that are Reshaim Merushaim, that the only thing they care about is your money. That's it. Nothing else. In fact, many of them, in my opinion, don't even believe in God. How can you believe in God and invite somebody to your house as a rabbi on a regular basis for 4 years, knowing that they're driving, when you know 100% it's against Allah, all halachot, any standards of halachot? How do you justify that? How do you explain that one? The woman's wearing kisui rosh. She's driving to your house on Shabbat. So, unfortunately, this is the world we live in.